You are listening to Shaoni, Born from the Light, by Iowan, read by Kevin M. Connolly. Chapter 40, United in Love. Do you remember the last time that you fell in love? Or the first time for all that? Do you remember how you felt? How absolutely great you felt? Wouldn't you have wanted that feeling to stay forever? Shaoni had just woken up. He didn't dare open his eyes. The things he felt inside. Never had he felt this way before. And to say that it happened just like that. He just woke up with it. Oh, what a feeling! There he was, wide awake, lying in bed, yet he was not alone. With him was that girl, the girl he had met along the road that one day. He hadn't said a word, nor had she. For just a brief moment, they had been caught in each other's eyes. Nevertheless, ever since that day, the girl had always been present. But this was different still. There he was, lying in his bed. Outside, he could hear the birds singing. He concentrated back on the feeling within. Yes, she was still there, within him. Not a thought, not a feeling. He couldn't describe it. It was as if they were one. As if every cell of his body had blended within every cell of her body, and each of these cells felt like exploding with joy. He felt complete, a deep rest, a deep feeling of serenity, too. His nose itched. Would he dare to move his hand and scratch it? Wouldn't that break the spell, make her go away? He decided to take the risk. He moved his hand, scratched his nose. No, she was still there. He didn't want her to leave, yet he knew this was just a feeling, that it would not stay. Shaoni decided not to do anything, to just stay in bed, trying not to move, to keep the feeling alive for as long as possible. An hour or so later, he was still lying in bed, listening to the birds, enjoying the feeling inside. Yes, she was still there. Nothing had changed. He had thought the feeling would gradually fade away. He had decided he would get up once it had faded completely. But there he was, and the feeling was still there too, just as strong as it had been at the very moment he had woken up. Shaoni realized he couldn't stay in bed forever. Surely the wizard would be wondering where he was. He decided to get up, knowing the feelings would fade. The girl would leave him. He opened his eyes and looked around the room. He saw the table, the chair, the cupboard in the corner. Then back within he looked. Surprised. Happy. She was still there. Shaoni decided to get out of bed. Slowly, as in slow motion almost. He wouldn't want to force anything. Maybe if he moved slow enough, she would stay. He got up, walked to the other side of the room, and sat down to get dressed. Once again he looked within. Yes, she was still there. The feeling of love, of sheer excitement, the loving, warm embrace, all of it still there. As he slowly dressed, he looked around the room. The warm embrace not only hadn't disappeared, it had even spread out to everything around. Literally everything. Even the furniture he now looked at seemed to be filled with the same glow of loving tenderness. This couldn't be real, Shaoni thought. He decided to start moving, break the spell. Shaoni went down the stairs, feeling like dancing. The world to him was music, a symphony of pure joy. On the way down, he met some other people. He could have hugged them, wished them all he could think of, would have given them, shared with them all that he had. Downstairs and into the main hall he went. The room was still filled with people, finishing up breakfast, getting ready to leave. Shaoni looked around. All the people he saw were surrounded by thousands of shimmering silver-blue little sparks, dancing in the air. It was sort of like a big Christmas tree, with each of its needles flashing on and off, yet never really catching fire. Well, that is what Shaoni saw, except that there was no Christmas tree. There were only people. Sitting in a far corner of the room, he found the wizard finishing a cup of tea. Without even thinking about breakfast, Shaoni told the wizard about the things that happened. Aniola just listened, didn't say or ask a thing. He knew what Shaoni had just lived, and he knew it would still take a while for the experience to slowly fade away, or, as the wizard would say, for the energies to slow down again. A couple of hours later, after Shaoni had had the most enormous breakfast and had gone out to play with the dogs that always ran loose behind the house, the wizard asked, "How do you feel then, my boy? This morning, feeling what you felt, did you feel secure? Was there anything you were afraid for? Any fears at all? Or anything you thought you couldn't do?" Shaoni didn't even have to think about it. "And did you feel there was anything missing from your life? Would you have wished for anything else, besides the things you had there and then?" Again, Shaoni didn't have to think for a split second. Not the slightest doubt in his mind. He knew. "Why is that, Shaoni? Why do you think that happens? And it happens every time your heart is filled with love, every time you experience love to the fullest. Isn't it surprising to see that fear does not survive, doubts no longer exist, anxieties, anger, all vanish, whenever your heart is filled with love? Think about that, my boy. How could that be?" Shaoni knew. Every time he had felt the energies over the past few months, he had also experienced a feeling that nothing could ever go wrong, that everything would always be all right. Yes, as soon as the vibrations got higher, all fears, anxieties, and doubts always disappeared and uncovered a world of joy, stillness, and harmony. Thank you for enjoying this chapter of Shaoni, Born from the Light. To hear more of these stories, please visit www.shaoni.net/audio. If you prefer to receive all of these stories in print, visit www.shaoni.net/book.